Operation Sandman, for those who don't know, Operation Sandman is a collaboration of 100 plus nations in agreement to simultaneously sell off their U.S. Treasury holdings, sending them back to the U.S. and to collapse the U.S. dollar. Trump's Middle East trip from May 13th to 16th isn't a tour. It's a tectonic reset. He's hitting Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, United Arab Emirates. But wait, there's more. Scavino drops Enter Sandman right before Wheels Up. Patriots are lighting up. Saudi Arabia cut the strings. Q drop 106 is activated. But the real fireworks, Iran's foreign minister is landing in the Gulf at the same time. Just days before, quiet Iran-Arab world peace talks are already in motion, coinciding with Trump's visit. That's not diplomacy, that's surgical realignment. And the old guard knows it. Trump just declared that the friendship between Netanyahu is over. According to Israeli army radio, Trump has cut contact, calling Netanyahu and his inner circle arrogant manipulators. Trump told Israeli Minister Ron Dermer he is done being disrespected. Manipulators, that's a hard stop. Bibi's out. Then Trump plays his next card. He's referred to as the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Gulf, a symbolic nuke aimed right at Iran's pride and message to the Arab world. America's back, but not as a puppet to the old power struggle. Behind the scenes, this is Abraham Accords 2.0, and this time Israel isn't in the driver's seat. Saudi Arabia cut loose. Iran's being engaged. Netanyahu is sidelined. The deep state foreign policy chessboard just slipped, and Trump's moving with precision. All within a week, celebrating the Nazi destruction. The comms are live. The timing is everything. Watch May 14th. Watch the Gulf. Watch who gets left behind.
Did you hear? Donald Trump just cut off direct contact with Benjamin Netanyahu. Not a diplomatic hiccup, not a scheduling conflict, a break. Because Trump believes Netanyahu tried to manipulate him and sabotage peace. And this isn't just about feelings. This is about strategy. Trump recently removed Mike Waltz, his own national security advisor, for back-channeling with Netanyahu. Waltz had been holding unauthorized talks, reportedly pushing a more aggressive stance towards Iran. While the public heard diplomacy, others were whispering war. Trump didn't just ignore it. He demoted Waltz, sent him to the United Nations. That was the first signal. And now comes the second. Trump is done with Netanyahu. Done being played. Done being pushed towards another endless war. And here's the kicker. It's not just our opinion. Major outlets from the Washington Post to Middle East Monitor are reporting this. Trump's break with Netanyahu is real. The Waltz demotion confirmed. This is a geopolitical earthquake, but the media won't say it out loud, so we will. For years, the nation-state of Israel, not the Jewish people, not the religion, but the regime, has used America like a weapon, weaponized loyalty, weaponized history, all while hiding behind the shield of faith. But Trump sees it now. He sees the Epstein web, the Mossad ties, the Maxwells, Ghislaine and her father, Robert, an Israeli agent embedded in media and power for decades. This isn't conspiracy. These ties have been long whispered in intelligence circles, and Trump's walking away from it. This isn't isolationism. It's clarity. He's not abandoning peace. He's demanding it on American terms, not Israeli ones. And to those on the left who still are infected with Trump derangement syndrome, stand down. You are no longer the resistance. You are the interference. Bury your egos. A peacemaker is at the helm, and you, ironically, have become the war hawks. History will remember who stood in the way of peace. We are not your pawns. We are not your silence. My friends, we are all anonymous.
Happy, but let's find out geopolitically wise what happened while we were sleeping.
in geopolitics. Pakistan launched multiple drone and munition attacks along India's western border, according to the Indian Army, which also reported repelling the assaults and responding to ceasefire violations in Kashmir. Pakistan has not responded to the latest claims, but previously denied similar accusations as politically motivated. Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin held extended talks in Moscow ahead of Victory Day commemorations, declaring strengthened China-Russia ties and pledging deeper cooperation across all areas, including military coordination against US dual containment policies. Ukraine dismissed Russia's three-day ceasefire as deceptive, citing 734 violations and continued attacks across the front, while Russia claimed it was observing the truce and accused Ukraine of 488 breaches. Public protests have erupted in Mali after the military government proposed extending Colonel Assimi Goita's rule until 2030 and suspended political parties, prompting accusations of democratic backsliding and fears of internal unrest. The UK and US announced a trade agreement reducing tariffs on British steel, aluminium and cars, with the UK becoming the first country to secure a deal following Trump's
You keep coming up with these scoops regarding January 6th. Do you have anything else that's coming up?
Yeah, pay very close attention to probably, I thought it was going to be out today, but we got a couple little things we got to clean up on a new article. And we know for a fact now that General Mark Milley, who is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, back under the previous Trump administration, we know that in June of 2020, during the riots in the Summer of Love here in D.C., he actually directed and ordered and authorized the use of both heat and sound directed energy weapons to be used against the protesters in that event. And we have the photography now to prove it, to back it up. And we're going to be coming out with that story tomorrow. And then we'll be launching a series off of that first article that will lead us to January 6th as well.
Which just heat and sound, which would do what?
Well, it depends upon which switch is used. It depends. If they are using sound energy weapons, they can be super audible or they can be sub-audible. If they're set to super audible, that's supposed to scare people away from a riot. If they're set to sub-audible, it can make people go crazy in their head and force them into violence. They call those agitation weapons.
So did y'all happen to get woken up at 9 a.m. as well and turn out to be an earthquake in Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina? Something weird actually happened in North Carolina. We'll get to it in a second. So I didn't even know it was an earthquake at first. Dog was barking, things were shaking, but look how far the aftershocks went. But look at the location. If you don't notice the location, I don't know what to tell you, but that's where Helene went, and that's where all the major storms have been the last few months, ever since Helene. But check out this right here. This was happening in North Carolina yesterday, around the same exact area. Now, I've lived in the Carolinas my entire life for 31 years, and hail like this, especially happening this often, is not normal at all. But the crazy weather is not limited to the United States. They've been having hailstorms in Spain every single day, snowstorms in the Middle East, and the deserts here, all sorts of crazy freaking stuff. It's almost like something weird's going on. I mean, this is insane. This was Asheville again, the direct place that was affected by Helene, and all the surrounding areas, just crazy hailstorms out of nowhere. Pretty crazy stuff. And by the way, there's actually been earthquakes every single day in the United States. We just had one in Texas, up north somewhere. Every single day we're having earthquakes. Who in the comments wants to guess where the next one's going to show up in the United States? I guess Virginia.
The United States to the European Union to Russia accept our 30-day ceasefire by Monday or new sanctions. Medvedev responds, shove your plan up your arse. The European Union, United States, NATO has told Russia they must begin a 30-day unconditional ceasefire with Ukraine this coming Monday or face a severe new economic sanctions on their banking and oil sector. If you wish to withdraw more than £3,000 in cash, you must notify the tax agency at least 24 hours in advance of the withdrawal. You must also specify the purpose of the withdrawal. Failure to comply with this requirement may result in fines of up to £150,000. That's a lot. The banking system becomes so fragile, they must now control people taking out their own money. It won't be long until this spreads to other countries like here in the United States.
Look what's happened in the last 23 years. A disgrace. I personally investigated the Oklahoma City bombing case. Huge cover-up. Jack Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. Bobby Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. World Trade Center, Huge cover-up. Okay? Terrorism. They're using it as an excuse to take away our constitutional rights and our civil liberties. The Bilderbergs, the Illuminati, Bilderberg, New World Order, globalists are the element behind this. It dovetails into the satanic movement, and this movement has infiltrated into our intelligence community, the once great FBI and the CIA.